What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. This is going to be episode 7, the final part, unless I realize I forgot anyone and I have to do a bonus episode, which I don't think I did right now, so I guess we'll see. But the final part of my series where I am casting the Harry Potter TV show for HBO Max. I am going based off the books, though I had to use the movies as a reference point. And I'm really excited about this. We're finishing it out here with Deathly Hallows, which is my favorite book. And Deathly Hallows Part 2 is one of my all-time favorite movies because I am a sucker for a good finale, and it's a great finale. It really is. I really only had 3 roles and actors to cast here, but you'll notice this video is a little longer than if I had just 3 because I'm also going to do a Harry Potter spin-off series that I think that Max should and hopefully will do. And I know a popular one that people want online is The Young Marauders. That I would watch it. Just really does not sound that interesting to me. But I'll tell you what does sound interesting to me. What I would want is a series on the Hogwarts founders. So I will cast the 4 Hogwarts founders at the end of this series. But first, let's finish out Harry's story. This character we actually meet here in the first book. And that is the wand maker, Godric Ollivander. He is played by John Hurt in the original film. And Ollivander doesn't appear in many scenes, but I want him to have a weight to him when he does, like John Hurt was able to bring. So I'm going to cast Oscar nominee Richard E. Grant. So he has many roles. I know if you're a big film buff, you'll know him probably for With Nail and I, which I believe that's what he was Oscar nominated for, I believe. Now, more recently, his big production roles, which I like to hit on if they've been in a big production TV show. He has had a small role in Game of Thrones, in a supporting role in the first season of Loki on Disney+. But I just think he could take this part, bring the mysterious aura, and I don't mean that in the aura that aura is currently meant. I just mean like this. He's going to exude this mysteriousness. He's an enigma, but he's obviously wise. He has this apparent wisdom to him. So I think that he can bring that to the character. So Richard E. Grant as Ollivander. Now, really one of the only new characters that we meet in Deathly Hallows is Aberforth Dumbledore, who is Albus Dumbledore's younger brother. Now, this is actually a very popular fan cast for Dumbledore, and I talked about it in the first episode, and he is the son of Dumbledore actor in the first 2 movies, Richard Harris, and that is Jared Harris. In a lot of the films I've seen Harrison and the roles I've seen him in, he's much more stern, serious, stoic, other words that start with an S, than I usually find Albus Dumbledore to be in the books, but I really think it would work for Aberforth Dumbledore. And so I think that he would fit so well in this gruff role. He's the right age to play Pierce Brosnan's younger brother, and I think it would be a great ode to Dumbledores of the past without being too much of a direct reference, because I don't think they're really going to reference the movies much, if at all, in these. Just they don't really need to. It's not meant to have to do anything with the movies. Anyways, if he does get cast as Albus Dumbledore, I will not be mad at all. He's a phenomenal actor, but I would cast him personally as Aberforth Dumbledore. Now, the one you're all waiting for by the time you've got to this episode. You're probably mad I haven't done it. I couldn't have done it in the first one where he's on the back of Quirrell's head. I did it in the second one where he's a little younger, played by Louis Partridge. He's not in the third one. I could have done it in the fourth one where he comes back to life at the end. I could have done it in the fifth one where he has a big fight at the end. And I could have done it in the sixth one where we see him again. He's in most of them because he is the antagonist. He who must not be named, though I'm going to name him. Tom Riddle, a.k.a. Lord Voldemort. So first, let me just make fun of myself. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at all these different actors. I'm looking at the fan cast everyone has online. And I'm like, I've got it. Eureka. Ralph Fiennes. He would be so good as Voldemort. He would be. That's because he already played Voldemort. And he did a great job. so good that my subconscious just suggested him. Like, it wasn't like I was sitting here and I saw his name. I was sitting here, I'm looking at other actors, and then it just hit me. I'm like, oh, he would be so good. Yeah, no, he already did it. They're not going to bring him back, and that's not my cast. Now, apparently, I've read online, don't know how reliable these sources are, that they're targeting Cillian Murphy for the role. While I think he is an absolutely phenomenal actor, and I have no doubt he could nail it, I just don't see him agreeing to star in something like this. And so I'm going to go in another direction, though it's a popular direction. And I actually had, I'm teasing you, I'm not telling you who it is. I'm pulling it up here. I actually had a comment on my first video from the user at Luke, LUC_Nukem. So shout out to you, Luke, that he got it spot on in the first episode. I'm thinking, he said, Benedict Cumberbatch as Voldemort. And that's right. I am going with Benedict Cumberbatch as Voldemort here. He can, Benedict Cumberbatch, if you are only familiar with him from his role as Doctor Strange in the MCU, that's fine. I'm not judging you, because that's okay to have only seen the popular things. That's fine. That's okay. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. For reference, he is really well known for his role as Sherlock in Sherlock Holmes. And he is also such a talented voice actor. Now, this isn't a voice role, but it shows you he can change his voice. In the first Doctor Strange movie, if you've seen that, and that's what you know him for, he also plays the character of Dormammu. So in the scene where he comes, Dormammu, I've come to bargain, the guy he's talking to, also Benedict Cumberbatch, he's just talking to himself. He played the role of the Grinch in The Grinch, the more recent animated one. You may not have even known that's him. He's been Oscar nominated for, I think he received an Oscar nomination for The Power of the Dog, but he also received an Oscar nomination originally as Alan Turing in The Imitation Game. But I would say perhaps my favorite role of his, he voices Smaug, the dragon, in the Hobbit series, and he is so good. I'll link it down below if I remember to. I will probably forget, but if I remember to, I'll link it down below. There's a video of him, just like, I think it's on the Graham Norton show, doing the, like, his Smaug voice, just sitting there on the couch, and it is so scary, and he's so good. The reason I'm telling you all this is because he can change his voice. He can make it slithery, and just, he's no stranger to acting under CGI with motion capture and under makeup. He's so good. I really think that Benedict Cumberbatch is the clear answer here. At 48, he's actually quite a bit younger than Voldemort would be. Voldemort would really be like 60 something. But he's old enough to do it, of course. But young enough to have the physicality that's needed, because Voldemort does a lot of moving, a lot of spell casting, a lot of duels, a lot of fights. Pretty much most of the scenes we see him in, he's fighting someone. I just think this is the right choice. I think it's the clear choice. And maybe I'm being basic, but that's okay. Benedict Cumberbatch as Lord Voldemort. Now, my bonuses for the 4 founders. Let me give you a little backstory, set the scene here. So it's kind of unknown when Hogwarts was founded, but we'll say it's like very far before Harry Potter, like 1,000 years, maybe more, 2,000 years, whatever. Now, I would cast the actors in like their 30s. Usually, if we see pictures of them, like official Harry Potter art, they're much older. Like their chocolate frog card art that you could get from Universal, they're much older than that. But I would cast it in the 30s, the beginning of their relationships with one another. I would show them becoming friends, how their relationship, specifically with Salazar Slytherin, breaks, their founding of Hogwarts. I want to say that I have to credit the idea for the series for, not that anyone's going to hear this and say, I bet that was Shane Wilson's idea, but I would want to credit that to the Super Carlin brothers. I love them and their channel and their podcast, and they've talked about it in length on there. So if you think it's a good idea, I want to credit it to them, though this cast is mine. And I don't know, maybe they'll see this video and they can let me know their thoughts on the cast. Now, first, we're going to go with Helga Hufflepuff, the more maternal figure of the 4. Now, this actress is slightly older than the other 3, but I think it works. And honestly, I think it works really well that she's slightly older, so she can kind of be the heart and soul of the team here, right? The team, like a superhero team. Now, I would cast the 38-year-old recent Emmy winner, like as of a month ago, Jessica Gunning. So she won an Emmy for Baby Reindeer, where she plays not a very Hufflepuff character. She plays a crazy deranged stalker in that. But if you watch interviews with her, if you I watched the Emmys, and her speech, she is so bubbly, she is so fun, brings a warm spirit, and I think that she could play this character so well. They was sitting there watching the Emmys, where I'm like, I'm working on this passively and watching the Emmys. I'm like, I'm putting her for Helga Hufflepuff. She's so funny, and she would be great. Like I said, I think it makes sense for her to be slightly older than the other three, because she's going to be the heart, she's going to be the moral compass, and the maternal figure. So, Jessica Gunning as Helga Hufflepuff. Now, her counterpart is the cunning, the clever Rowena Ravenclaw. Now, in that role, I would go with the 32-year-old Kaya Scodelario, I believe is how you say her name. She is mostly known for her roles in Skins and the Maze Runner trilogy. I just think she emulates the key traits of a Ravenclaw. She can be smart, she can be intelligent, like I said, clever, cunning, cold, calculated at times. But overall, I think that this needs to be a series about a group of 4 friends, where they are all getting along and joking at times, and so I think that she would just mesh really well. I could just envision, as I was doing this group together. Now, for Salazar Slytherin and Godric Gryffindor. Again, I have to credit this to the Super Carlin brothers, but I just see this being like a bromance for the ages. I see them getting into all kinds of crazy shenanigans, so I think it makes sense for them to be a little bit younger than the ladies. I think it really makes sense for especially Godric Gryffindor to be the youngest, because he wants to make a name for himself. He's loud, he's bold, he's brash. And so these actors are 31 and 28 years old. They're Irish brethren. They're both up-and-coming actors. I think they were both featured in Variety's Top 10 on the new A-list. Barry Keoghan and Paul Mescal. So, obviously, I feel like me just telling you the actors, you'll know who they're going through. But Barry Keoghan as Salazar Slytherin. I actually considered him for both the roles of Snape heavily and very briefly for Voldemort. Two of the most Slytherin-y Slytherins. But the most Slytherin-y Slytherin is Slytherin, right? You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? I just think that I know we don't know much about these characters. What we do know of them comes from what we know about their houses and the traits that were important to them. And I don't know. This just makes so much sense to me. Barry Keoghan as Salazar Slytherin, and now Paul Mescal as Godric Gryffindor. And again, I don't know if I would have thought of him for this role, because of his other roles that he's had so far have been in more romantic drama movies. They're not all romantic dramas, but romantics movies / drama movies. But then that Gladiator 2 trailer dropped, man. The movie's coming out here in the next month or so. I'm so excited. And it just works now, right? He's cool and he's handsome. He's going to be boisterous and cocky. And it just works. It just works. It's like, it's kind of funny. I put a lot of thought into every single one of these castings throughout this series. I don't even know how many I did. Well, let's see. There's 7 episodes. I did like 6 to 7 for each episode, so maybe about 45 to 50. Did my math just make sense there? No. Yeah, it did. Give yourself credit, Shane. You know how to do math. 45 to 50. And I just think that these two might be the two that make the most sense in my head. Are Paul Mescal and Barry Keoghan as Slytherin and Gryffindor. Old Sal and Rick. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're just watching this for Harry Potter content, then you must be a big Harry Potter fan. So please let me know down in the comments if there's any characters throughout this series that I missed. I guess that means you're going to have to watch the whole series so you can let me know what I missed. And if there are any, I'll make a bonus video. If it's just a couple, I'll even do that. If I can come up with an actors form. There are a couple people I excluded, like Olympia Maxime, just because I didn't. I wasn't comfortable trying to pull a French actress out of the air to make up to cast her, and I didn't want to just do someone because they were French. But anyways, I'll move on. If there's anyone I missed, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on any of these castings. I would love to hear your thoughts on if they were to do a Harry Potter spinoff show, what you would want to see. And if they were to do a Founders series, what you would want to see for that, or who you would want to see in that. I'm going to send this to the Super Carlin brothers. Maybe they'll see it. That would be cool, because if you are a Harry Potter fan and you don't know who they are, first of all, I don't know how you found my YouTube videos about Harry Potter if you haven't found them, but they're huge. So I just want to plug them, because I think there's a lot of people like me that have always been Harry Potter fans, but those two guys and their team just going through the Harry Potter books, whether it's on their YouTube channel or on their various podcasts, Popcorn Culture and Through the Gryffindor, where they talk about Harry Potter and you can tell how much they love it. It just makes me love it even more. So shout out to those guys, even though they probably won't see this. I just want to shout them out, because I'm sure a lot of you Potterheads that are watching this probably know who they are as well. So I want to give them credit here for not just the Founders part of this, but this whole series. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Stay tuned for more YouTube videos. I don't know what's coming next. I have a couple top 10 favorite movies lists in the works right now. So stay tuned for those. Other than that, check out my blog down below, Showtime with Shane. I'm a lot more consistent with that than I am with the videos, because my 6-month-old baby is much more willing to let me type out an article than he is to let me record a YouTube video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you watching, especially if you're still watching at this point. So thank you. Stay tuned for another video. Comment down below all the things that I said earlier. Peace.